fancy new music in all the intro. It's our second time having it on Morning Brew. I hope you like it. It does actually sound like me stirring my coffee in the morning. Do you go, are you black coffee or do you put something in yours?
No, I go iced espresso every
right, you're
single
the ice.
day. So
Yeah.
I don't have. I need cold. I don't like anything hot burns it burns automatically. So I'm a lukewarm kind of guy. So coffee
Really?
cold. Yeah,
Oh my God.
always.
No,
Yeah.
hotter the coffee, the better.
Oh no, I don't know how people do it. I don't know
Can
how
you
you do it.
soup? You drink
No,
soup?
it needs to be. I mean, I can't eat it as soon as it gets off the stove.
Oh, no.
I've got to wait because it'll.
Lukewarm soup is pretty much like water to me. I mean, I put it back in and heat it up. All right. Well, we've learned what we've learned about each other.
There we
All
go.
right.
That's right.
Relationships matter.
That's-
Yes. Hot
They do.
coffee, Razor's cold coffee. So when we get our coffee sponsor, they need to have both hot and cold options.
That's right. It's got to be iced.
It has to be iced for you. Well, good morning. Bruins lose 3-2 to the New Jersey Devils in a game that was less than intense, I thought, for the Bruins until late in the game. Now, easy to sit here and say if they put forth the same effort that they did in the last couple of minutes in the game, it would have been different, but they didn't. So it's a moot point saying that. I felt like their bodies could not get going because their minds weren't into it enough. They were not sharp. Was it a first game back, so to speak, after a long road trip? I say that partly tongue-in-cheek because we understand they were on the road a lot, but there wasn't such a long road trip. It wasn't that first game back from a Western road trip type of thing. But it did have that feel. Barry Peterson mentioned that in the postgame. I agree. Sluggish, lack of battle, lack of mental sharpness in the game. And New Jersey, to their credit, completely took advantage of it and played their game, whereas the Bruins were just like, okay, we're here, but.
New Jersey took advantage. I'm also, it just came to my head this morning now, were they looking ahead a little bit going out to Tahoe and that kind of excitement. And usually this team doesn't do that, but there's young guys this year and there's these young, that'll be a big deal for them to go out there and play on the stage. But whatever it was, it wasn't good enough. Whatever it was, the Devils outperformed last night. And to your point, it didn't feel like a 3-2 game to me. That felt further away from them being close, them getting a win than they've had all season.
Right. So the shots were 27-26 in favor of the Bruins. This is why statistics are nice and somewhat telling, but nowhere nearly telling the story. The better chances in the game overall were off the sticks of the New Jersey Devils. The Devils, as we showed during one intermission, forechecking beautifully, getting through the neutral zone. I didn't realize this. The Devils, before the game, I didn't realize this till then, are the Devils the second best team at creating chances off the rush. Now, they don't finish as many, but they create off the rush. It's Lindy Ruff's style, and it's the young legs that they have. And the Bruins now in 3 games against the Devils have had a hard time corralling the speed of the New Jersey Devils. They've had a hard time with that. And is it concerning? A little bit, a little. I thought the Devils took what the Islanders did and added to that, meaning get the pucks deep, get below the goal line, start cycling. They went all over the ice. I said during the game, it's the razzle-dazzle forecheck. And they hemmed the Bruins in for lengths a period of time during the game last night.
They did, and there was really no answer. There was no adjustment to be made, and we've seen them now in 3 games. The talk after the first 2 games was, the Devils charging the net, Wood going to the net, the speed through the neutral zone, getting wide on the Bruins D, and what it's done, very obvious, is it's stifled the Bruins offensively more than anything because they couldn't get anything going up there in Jersey the first 2 games. They didn't feel like they got a lot going last night.
They don't break out against them like they normally do. The Bruins start with their breakouts. Their O starts with their breakouts, and they go. They can't seem to do it regularly against them.
Yeah, so there's adjustments to be made there, and it's good enough. This wasn't up to the expectations of a team that's 10-3-2, and they knew it. There was frustration after the game. You could hear it the first time. Again, the other 2 losses were kind of but I think last night, just listening and hearing them talk, there was frustration in how their game was played, and they need more than that. That was just unacceptable.
Yeah, I agree. The Islanders' loss last 5-6 days ago was about a team that was a little tired, a team that was ready to get back home, a team but they put it out there. They were.
Yeah.
We use the term a lot on this show, grind. I don't know if it's intentional regarding coffee or not, but it makes sense. They were in on the grind on last Saturday in the loss to the Islanders. They were not on the grind in this one. They were not. They were being grinded or ground down, if that's the proper way of saying it. They weren't doing the grinding. The big story coming into the game was the new lines, the look of the lines. Pastrnak with Krecji. You had Smith with Coyle. You had Bjork back with Corrali. What was going to happen with Jake DeBrusk, right? Up with the Bergeron line.
Yep.
Unfortunately, only one period of game action for David Krecji as he went out with an injury. We couldn't find it. We showed one highlight at the end where he kind of hesitated. It looked like it was actually right at the end of the whistle. Can't guess what it is. Lower body, right? Isn't that what they said? I think.
Yeah. They said lower body.
So we didn't get to really see much. Although I did think the first couple of shifts, both for the Kreții line and the Coyle line, few minutes, were good. We're good, but a few minutes doesn't make up a 60-minute game, obviously.
No, and the talk for 4 days and the changing, and it all goes in the blender, 20 minutes into the game, which is pretty typical, of course. That's how it works. That was good. Again, we've talked at length about the third line and Charlie Coyle and getting him going. So I liked their game for the most part. For me, it passes an eye test. There's not really a certain way to explain it, or there wasn't a play last night where it's eureka, this is the example of why these guys should be together. For me, it just feels like they should. I like their energy. I just like the way their games match up, and now we've talked. Charlie Coyle needs to get going because of that. Because I think you put them together and let Charlie figure out how he needs to get going, and because it's going to be important. That line, especially against a team like New Jersey, who isn't as deep. They need to find a way to be really effective against that team.
Yeah, no shots on goal, no attempts for Coyle in the game. He needs to get going. They need him to own the puck, Charlie. Bring it to the net, Charlie. Even if his shot, which is not his first mentality, gets a howitzer off. Bring it to the net, attempt it, create space for your line mates, Charlie.
Yeah. That's what if he's putting the puck on net, then it's Frederick and Smith going in on the forecheck and getting pucks and retrieving, and that's where they're going to be good.
Yeah. Again, I'm fine if he doesn't have 8 shots a game. That's not his DNA.
Oh.
Give me 3 though. At least 3 attempts.
Yeah.
No attempts in the game. So he needs to be better. Yet I agree the line was okay. The Kreții line, when it was together, it was all right. Pastrnak ended up with 10 attempts in the game, 6 on net, 4 that got attempted and got blocked. But I thought David Pastrnak was in and out of the game. I thought, again, having a hard time early on, had the gallop, but then had a hard time keeping it going. I understand the mixing of lines here and there. He did have a great chance at the end of the game, but Blackwood, who we'll get to in a minute or two, made a beautiful save on him. One player I thought that played really well was Bjork. He only played 11 minutes, but I like what we saw. The penalty kill continues to be a story for him because it keeps him engaged in a way that allows him to feel more part of the team. You know what I mean? More valued of the team.
Yeah, and it shows off his speed in those situations. It shows off his hockey sense. He has a very good hockey sense, especially on that PK. He reads off of his teammates. He gets to the point, man. Like, he really figures it out. And yeah, he's settled in after having a tough, first 6, 7, 8 games. It's nice that he's settled into a role where I don't think anyone's really focused on him. He's doing his job. He's doing what he needs to do. He's contributing in a positive way, and it solidifies down there on the bottom.
Yeah. He had a few good plays. I usually watch the condensed version of the game before we do this show. So just as a refresher, go over it. And it's a nice feature on NHL.com. I almost didn't want to this morning, I got to be honest with you. I'm like, oh, do I got to really watch that again? But I watched it, and I remember I saw that Bjork play earlier on in the game where he used his edges well. He goes lateral, gets around a D-man. Blackwood makes a body shoulder save on him. Then he had some other opportunities later in the game. He had 2 shots on net. He had a hit. He was moving. He was grooving. you can't say a lot for the other guys. Like, we didn't really notice Bergeron and Marchand, for instance, in this game. In fact, there was one play, again, saw it rewatching the game this morning. Bergeron had it. It was a shorthanded situation. It was a 2-on-1. He's coming down that left side. So the puck, him being a righty, he's to the inside. Bergie had about 4 more strides he could have taken to get closer and even increase his shooting angle even a little more. It's going to be very difficult to beat Mackenzie Blackwood on a 30 or 40-foot shot like he tried. And look, it's hard. I'm not criticizing Bergeron. What I'm saying is, I think it's indicative of where the minds were and how the body couldn't get there. You know what I mean? The mind controls the body. Normally, he carries it. The D-men played it well, kind of took away the pass to Marchand. But Bergeron would bring it a little more to the middle and would probably bring it 10 feet closer in a matter of 2 seconds. Instead, he just shot it, and Blackwood made the save.
There was that's a perfect example of, but there was other ones as well that they not typically what they would do, and they're usually creating more from the same situation. I thought the same thing with David in the last 5 minutes, like the giveaways.
Yes.
Not something you normally see, but just pounding it into pads and not making, just throwing it around the boards to nobody, and instead of finding that quick bumper play or, holding on to it and cycling down low and holding more room. So those are, it just didn't feel the same. And it was just as much the top guys as it was anyone else.
Absolutely. And again, this statistics to me have a value, no question. Don't overuse them. The number of giveaways credited officially were 11 to the Bruins. It's not just that your point is excellent about putting pucks to nowhere. That's as much of a giveaway as that, but that won't get marked as a giveaway on the sheet. It just won't. The Bruins did that a few times. Pucks into areas where you're like, no, deeper. Put it in here, put it there. An attempted pass that was tipped that doesn't get credit as a giveaway or a takeaway, but really is because it's a change of possession. And
those guys make that pass 9 times out of 10 or 99 out of 100. And last night that was getting tipped, or that was getting just a little mishandled at the end of it. And it was just that kind of performance.
Right. As I said to Dale and Barry, they were burping the puck up so much, right?
Yeah.
And the only thing that was burping more was me after eating the Greek salad.
What
we had.
You had chicken parm last night?
We went Gyro City. And we all got these amazing Greek salads. No lettuce, by the way. That's a real Greek salad. Greek salads don't have lettuce. They just got all the fresh vegetables in there, but a lot of red onion. So it was a burp fest, right?
Okay.
Right. It was a burp fest on and off the ice. It never had a good feel, the game. I don't know if you could tell that when you were playing or not as a goalie. I'm sure you could, especially more so in the net than on the bench. I'm only guessing. It's amazing how a matter of a few feet, you're in the game here versus waiting to be in the game or potentially be in the game. I'm guessing, never having been a goalie or a backup goalie. But from my perspective, working the game, I actually had a harder time engaging in the game because of how the Bruins were playing. And I'd never had the feel that they were locked in. I never did in this one.
Yeah, no, and that's it. You do have that feeling as a goaltender, especially in that you get through the first. All right, 0-0. Maybe we're going to turn. Maybe we're going to really pick it up here. And then for the Palmieri goal, the first one goes in, and then you're chasing the game, and then you recognize that we might not have it tonight. And as a goaltender, you're sitting back there and I can't give up the next one. Then it's 2-0 and 2-1. Maybe we'll get back. 3-1, and you just recognize that it's going to be really tough to get back into that game.
Good shots by Kyle Palmieri. He's a good sniper who hasn't scored this year, but he's a good player.
With those opportunities,
especially.
He's not the guy. He's a really good player. He's not creating out of nowhere, but if you give him those chances, he's scoring. He's going to score more often than not, and those were good plays, good shots, good deception, good releases.
Yeah. Not sure what would happen on the first goal with regard to both Lozon and McAvoy being over on is it Hughes that brought him over there and made a real nice pass to him, but gives Kyle Palmieri a wide open.
It was like a weird change going on too. There was too many men. I looked at it again. I couldn't really count the player. It looked like they might have had too many, and someone jumped off, and they were. It was some kind of bench confusion and confusion through the neutral zone. But again, something we don't see often from this group. Something that usually gets figured out before it's a breakaway.
But you had 2 D-men back. You still had 2 D-men, and you had Lozano who came over. I was trying to figure out, was he trying to do the old, I'm going to step up, even though I'm the weaker side D. I'm going to slash out, take the guy, and then have Charlie come underneath him. Neither of them did that.
Go ride the wave.
Exactly.
He was going to go ride the wave over there or not, and then he didn't.
And he did, right. And the next thing you know, Hughes makes a really good pass, beautiful pass, and Palmieri's wide open. Blocker, or glove side shot, snipe pass to lock there. Another shorthanded goal, though, the second one allowed. So now and this one was with the defenseman on the ice. So
yes, fortunately, it was exactly the same play though. They got broken up at the line, and they had no one back up. They on the weak side of the ice, they had 3 or 4 guys over there, and they got hung up on the blue line, and then bingo, right? It was exactly the same as that Islanders, where everybody on that weak side got stuck, and they were beating up the strong side, and it's too easy having those 5 guys lined up on the blue line.
Severson makes a nice play there. We'll give him credit, and he gets it out right away, right? He just gets it out and high enough where it can't be batted down. Gets it out. Palmieri comes in. Question, not criticism. Question here. What does Halak do? What would he look at on that video? Beats him 5-0. Good shot. Good speed from Palmieri. Is there something on the video that he would look at and say, I'm going to do this next time or not?
I don't think so. I think that's how Yaro would play that most of the time, and he's expecting not to get beaten 5-0. That's a pretty tough shot to make. Yeah. A lot of guys aren't looking to make that shot either. There's not a lot of room there. And
from the side, you mean coming in and then bring the right shot to the middle like that?
Exactly. With that right shot, the puck's behind him a little bit, so you have to really hold short side. Right. He has to really hold that short side high glove because he has that a lot longer on that right side. And for him to pull at 5-0, there really isn't a lot. So that's why Yaro's holding here a little bit longer. He's a little bit more opened up because of that short side glove is what you're really trying to take on that play.
Yeah, I, as a shooter, and again, I'm using myself as the mentality of a decent player, not an NHLer. I wouldn't think going 5-0 there would be hard. And I'm a righty.
Yeah.
I'm righty. I would actually think I would try to go maybe bring it in and either drag to the back end and see if I could beat you on the blocker side, or try a quick shot low on the ice to that right foot. The fun shot is, top shelf glove side. But you've so little of that right there. The good shooters, young guys that can do it, maybe they could, snipe it right there. But to your point, Yaro's holding that spot a lot more, that area more.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. And we talked about, with prior shows about getting ahead of the puck and overplaying it. Yaro didn't do that. That would be the criticism. That's the easy criticism. That's the easy fix is if he's overplaying it and coming off of his post and then getting beat short side, then it's like, okay, this is what we have to do differently. And I think he played it the right way. He was just beating 5-0 with a good shot. And, you're going to give that to, he's got to give something up.
Yeah. And Palmieri, this guy's a 20-goal scorer, 20-plus in the league. And he was feeling it. He was close to a hat trick last night a couple of times. So
plays good against the Bruins,
he does, yeah.
He always plays well against the Bruins.
Yeah, I hope, the Bruins were hoping. I think they kicked tires on him last year. I do. Because a lot of teams did. It wasn't that the Devils didn't want him. It's that a lot of teams did want him. He's a good player. Mm-hmm. Jake DeBrusk scores. Much needed. Let's hope he gets on a roll. I say it's got to. I think it feels like a shorter leash right now on him, but I don't know if it really is, Razor, because I don't know if the Bruins have somebody to put in for him. They have to have somebody else elevate their game to competition or compete. For that spot. I'm a huge Jake fan personally, and I think when he's playing the right way. I'm hoping that this goal catapults him to a streak right now.
The Bruins need him to catapult into that, and that's why he's on this deal. That's why they signed him to the Show Me Bridge deal, and that's where he's at in his career now, where he needs to take the team on his shoulders for a couple weeks here. And the energy the young guys need to bring in the next two quarters of this season is very important. And I think Jake's leading the way on that. I think he's the one who needs to really bring it, really step up in these games that are going to be tough for the older guys. And you hope that goal starts it. It can't hurt. You cannot hurt. You do not want that big donut in front of your name, every game. So that's a good start. And you just hope that a few more go in. He gets a little more responsible defensively.
Yeah, I didn't love some of his defense.
Gets in on his forecheck a little bit more and just makes his teammates better.
I agree. I didn't love some of his defensive awareness in the game last night. I thought he got beat 3-4 times cleanly as he's coming out to play his point man. And he got beat, I can think of 3 times cleanly like that. So,
and the Bruins game is, excuse me, their offense is built on not getting beat defensively. Because once one guy gets beat, then it turns into chaos, especially against a tough, quick Devils team. Now they're chasing, and now they're just getting the puck and throwing it out and not able to get that nice, clean entry out of their zone.
Absolutely. It was a power play goal. It was a turnover from Palmieri right to his stick. The good news is his stick was on the ice, and he snipes it over Blackwood. He doesn't let Blackwood get set. Blackwood's a damn good goalie. I know this is a Bruins show, but Mackenzie Blackwood is a damn good goalie. I think he's going to be one of the best in the league within a couple of years. I do. I do. I love his presence, his set. I think he's better than Carter Hart. I think he'll end up being better than Carter Hart. I'm not saying that to be blasphemous here and to put down Carter Hart. I'm saying my eye test, I see Blackwood being better. I don't see many holes in his game.
There's a legitimate argument there. The body of work is growing for Blackwood. He had a tough year and a half to start out his pro career, and he's really growing from that. Really got a lot of strength from that. The Devils were in a tough spot. He was playing games he probably shouldn't have at the NHL level, but he fought through it. And now, to your point, his eye to his presence, that's the word. And some guys have it. Some guys can't find it. This kid has it. He's a monster in net. He's a big kid. He's athletic still. He skates well. And there's it will become a debate whether Carter Hart or Mackenzie Blackwood are the best young Canadian goalies. That's going to come up north. There'll be a lot of that. And certainly they're going to be not just the best young goalies. They're going to be real NHL goaltenders, these two. And Blackwood's, he's good. And that goes to how difficult the Devils have played the Bruins. The Bruins, you look back at the first 2 games, they should have dominated both of those, but Blackwood was there. And then this one, it flipped a little bit, and Blackwood wasn't going to be the goalie that Carter Hart did, that Tristan Jarry did, that allowed the Bruins back into the game. Mackenzie Blackwood shut the door last night.
So the Bruins score a goal late in the game, the Pastrnak goal, right? It ends up being recredited to Pastrnak as it should have been, but yet there's a great chance from Pasta, right before the end of the game, and Blackwood makes the save. Didn't have any panic in his game. He was calm. He was square to the shot, not coming past his post. Keep an eye on this kid, folks. I think he's going to be a hell of a goaltender, and for years to come. Built like huge, too. I mean, just a athlete.
Yeah, he's 225. Like he's 6'4". Lots of guys are 6'4", but most guys are 180, 190 like Tuukka. This guy's 220, 225.
Yeah.
He's built like Marty Brodeur.
He is, and he's got
to go there. He's a bit of a workhorse.
He's got a mentality that when it's his team, and I don't mean that as saying it's my team. No, this is my team. I need to be there for them. And so I love that. We heard from him in the post game, and he's speaking like a very mature kid already. Look, there's not much else about this game that I really want to go over. It really wasn't a fun game to watch from a Bruins perspective. I don't know if there's much else to talk about. I mean, Krecji injury, we got to touch on quickly here. Played a period. I mean, what do you do now? Let's assume he doesn't go, and he probably shouldn't go, just like Grizzlick shouldn't. He's out, and Zaboral's out. You don't want to send him to an outdoor rink that looks gorgeous, but not ideal conditions. What do you do? I mean, Par Lindholm signed a multi-year deal back in Sweden. He got his release and he sent out. So what do you do now if you're the Bruins?
you're piecing it together. You know, you're putting the paper mache team together, just like the Flyers, and maybe that makes it a little easier that the Flyers are, you know, piecing things together. They're gonna have 4, 5, 6 guys not going out as well, so maybe that makes it a little easier. All right, let's just put a Band-Aid on this, not try and overthink it. We're gonna put 12 forwards on the ice, and we're gonna try and get through this game. Maybe I think I get a sense that's the mentality is. Listen, we're going to bring guys out. You might be playing center, you might be playing left wing, you might be playing right wing. We are going to actually have a pond hockey game here, and we're going to do our best to get 2 points, but we're going to also do our best to make sure everyone survives and get ready for the haul that March is going to be.
Yeah, it's going to be a haul. It's going to be brutal. And remember, this game coming up on Sunday, they don't play again until next Thursday, so they can put it all out there. They can play their big horses that much more. The scratch,
and it buys time for Krecji. It buys time Zaboral, the Grizzly. Get these guys teed up for the end of that weekend.
You do have options. I mean, it doesn't matter what the roster said last night or the scratches because you've got your taxi squad and you've got the minors. Do you bring up Jack Studnicka? Maybe. Do you put in a guy like Carson Kuhlman and move somebody else to center? Maybe. To your point, I think this almost becomes give me the 12 best guys that I can put out there at forward, and we'll figure it out. You know, Bruce isn't afraid to blenderize them, and we'll figure it out. At least 5, if not 6. I mean, no Voracek, no Giroux going out there, no Konechny going out there for Philadelphia. That doesn't mean it's going to be easy. Holy smokes. Rangers had to go to extra session to beat this Flyer team. So, anyways, let's see what happens. We have no report on David. There's no practice on Friday. We won't get a report on David. My gut just says you're not playing him. Even if it's just a tweak, you're not playing him to go out there. All right, so anything else? Anything else we want to get to before we wrap this thing up? You know, this game.
No, this is a flush it game more so than, you know, you have the scheduled loss game, and this is a flush it game, and we need to break everything we did tonight. We're doing the opposite the rest of the way.
I want to call it something different than a scheduled loss. I'm going to call it an acceptable loss. And then I know I'm splitting hairs.
That's fair.
I don't think a team in the shortened season can have a scheduled loss. I don't, because in the old days I think you could, because either you knew it was going to happen, you've been on the road, you've been out to the bar, all that stuff, and you're ready to go home. This one, I don't think you can. But anyways, I'm going to call it
acceptable. I like that. That's that. You're right. That's
this one
better
to
phrase.
Me wasn't acceptable. It just wasn't.
Yeah, the Vancouver Roxy game. That's a schedule.
Exactly. That is ultra accepted and expected. That's the other thing.
That's right.
Especially if night turns into day. All right, man. So we will come back on Sunday. We will get that. We got still a lot of stuff to talk about.
We've got one more quiet week, and then I was looking at that schedule. We're gonna be hammering it out here.
The response by the fans listening. First of all, thank you as always for listening. A lot of great names brought up about people to talk with former Bruins. Have one in the back pocket that might be. I'm going to work on one. Razor. I think we should do another show early next week since we have the 5 days off, and talk to one of these guys. Former Bruins, and that's a lot of fun. And then we're going to be hopping. We're going to be working. Morning Brew is definitely percolating right now. It's getting going. We've reached many thousand downloads already on podcasts and on YouTube. So thank you, fans, for listening. We're here for you. We're trying to make it better every day. Hope you like the music ins and outs. Speaking of out, we're out. Enjoy your coffee. Go have a second cup. And the way the Bruins played last night, treat yourself. Put a little something in it.